I am rewatching Andor Season 1 in preparation for the new season, and here are my thoughts on my second watch of Episode 2. Episode 2 of Andor dives in a little deeper into the world of Ferrix. It shows us that this planet is vibrant yet gritty, and it really grounds the story as this is a really blue-collar type of planet. We get this sense that everybody on Ferrix is into everybody else's business, which could spell trouble for Cassian. And this planet just feels raw, it feels lived in, and it gives us a great contrast to the world that Cyril is in, which is very shiny and very kept. Now, watching episode 2 by itself, I can see why they released 3 episodes of Andor when the show premiered. Because if they had just done 1 episode a week, I might have given up after episode 2 because not a whole lot happens. We see Cassian continue to cover his tracks, continuing to push Bix for this contact so he can sell whatever he's got so he can escape, because he can feel that something's coming for him. We also see Cyril figuring out a little bit more about his investigation and narrowing in on Cassian. And then we get a complexity to Bix's character as we figure out her relationship with Tim, and we see that he's jealous and suspicious of her relationship with Cassian. It does set the stage for some future betrayal. We see more flashbacks to Kenari, and we get a little bit more sense of what's going on there as these kids find this spaceship that's crashed. And seeing Cassian in both of these different timelines does a really good job of help building his backstory for us. But again, that's really all this episode is. This episode does explore a lot of themes of survival, of trust, and continues to blur the lines between right and wrong. Cassian isn't our typical hero. His actions are really driven by necessity and survival. And the gritty, down-to-earth tones are a stark contrast to what we typically see in Star Wars with this real science fiction fantasy style that most Star Wars gives us. We get more of the stunning visuals that Episode 1 brings us. We see a lot of these practical sets and props which do a really good job to bring us into this story. And while it wasn't the best episode on its own, there were a few key moments that stood out to me. Most importantly, the growing tension between Cassian and Tim. Tim is letting his jealousy and his suspicion of Cassian and Bix overtake him. We also see more of Cyril's determination and drive to find this criminal, which I think is just his internal drive to be more than what he is and less actually trying to solve a crime. We were also introduced to a new character this episode. We see Luthen. He's coming to Ferrix, and we don't know why yet, but I did think they do a good job of building anticipation for this character. But like I said, this episode wasn't super intriguing to me by itself. Part of the overall picture, it does have its purpose, but if you're watching it week to week, the episode just doesn't hit. And again, I completely understand why they released 3 episodes in a row, because if you ended on this episode with a week-long break, you were going to lose some viewers. This is going to be a short one because I wasn't super thrilled with episode 2. It does work for some character and some world building, but on its own, not the best episode. But I want to know what you thought of episode 2. Have you watched it a second time? Did you find it more intriguing than I did on my second watch? I'm really looking forward to my rewatch of episode 3 next, because that's where the stakes are going to begin to grow, and that's where they really hooked me on this show my first time around. If you don't already subscribe to my channel, please go ahead and do that now, because I'm going to talk about every episode of Andor Season 1 leading into Season 2, and then we're going to break that down episode by episode as they come out. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and do costuming videos, prop building, showing off this Star Wars basement in my collection. If you like Star Wars, this is the channel for you. Thanks for watching my episode 2 breakdown. Come back for episode 3, and may the Force be with you.